Greetings, travelers. I'm here to proudly announce that I am not trans. Yeah, sorry to clickbait anyone who got their hopes up because my original character is a purple-haired cat girl. I do just really like anime cat girls. Is that a character flaw? Depends on who you talk to. To be fair, I might double trick some people because I always list any and all pronouns in my bio. This is an extended bit because of my avatar and my name, where some people read the first 4 letters and start to make some assumptions. So don't worry. I've made it impossible to misgender me before you click on a video and hear me speak. A lot of people who read my bio start exclusively referring to me with they/them pronouns, which I just find kind of funny. I'm just a guy, a dude even, who doesn't have strong enough feelings on the matter to get upset if someone refers to me with the wrong pronouns. Someone out there is probably ready to give me a gender dissertation on how that actually means I'm something else, but as far as I'm aware, I get to decide my gender identity and nobody else. Though I'll let you know if I ever change my mind on any of that. I originally wrote a nice long video essay that started with discussing the bystander effect that we were all told about repeatedly in middle school to stop bullying, at the same time as learning that not reporting statistics mean they don't exist. Then I linked this idea back to current politics and decided to promptly throw all of that in the garbage. I realized I only have a few important things I want to say for my own personal reasons. I may not be transgender, and I might not care what pronouns someone uses to refer to me, but if you have a problem with using someone's preferred pronouns, you have a problem with me. Honestly, you can extend that to any minority and any amount of hate directed at people for being themselves, unless being yourself is being a bigot, in which case I do not like you. I'm going to assume this video will feel like it's coming out of nowhere for many people, which is why I must acknowledge my own sin. A long time ago, this channel was much smaller in terms of subscribers. I got a shout out from someone that pushed me much farther and pretty much made YouTube even remotely possible as a career. That man's name is Albert Einstein. It's Asmongold. I do not want to turn this into some petty internet drama, and I would rather not provoke the following of someone who is still much larger than me. What I have to admit is that I used to like Asmongold. Well, actually, I like Zach, not so much the character he played, but I'm not going to try and paint some idealistic past where I am secretly smarter and a better judge of character. I was not a regular viewer of his that suddenly woke up one day. I was someone on the outside who was more than willing to look the other way if it meant my numbers would go up. A lot of Final Fantasy XIV creators did the same thing, but I do not believe this excuses me for going along with the flow. As years have gone by, I never wanted to think of these reaction videos, which got my channel much of its initial momentum. I convinced myself that my videos would have blown up without a shoutout, but I have no way to prove one way or the other. I think I wanted to believe that because I did not want to consider being indebted to someone. The flood of people who've personally told me they found my channel through those videos made it painfully obvious how deep in denial I was. I have seen many of the horrible things that man has said since then, and it was specifically his remarks about the Palestinian people that got me to finally message his editor and ask to remove any and all content associated between me and him. This was not done recently. His editors got back to me very quickly and happily removed everything they could find. I didn't even have to track down every video myself. They were more than willing to accommodate all of that. As far as all my professional interactions have gone, Asmongold and his team have been super cordial and understanding. Even when it was just stupid reaction content, they made sure I knew they would take down anything I requested on whatever whims I had at any moment. I cannot speak for anyone else. I do not know how easy it is for other creators, but my experience was completely painless, and they kept their promise. That is where I wanted to leave things, as something done behind the scenes without ever acknowledging it publicly. I am not here to call out someone who clearly doesn't care in the first place. I am here to encourage the trash to take itself out. If you followed me at any point for any reason and can't deal with what I just said about anything to do with being tolerant of trans people or being outraged with what is happening in Palestine, unsubscribe, unfollow me on socials or whatever. Most people don't check their subscription box anyways, and this is the type of video to not get recommended. So I will have to recruit people to spread the message to anyone who accidentally still follows me from the good old Final Fantasy XIV days. I still play the game though. I am an addict. I never wanted to speak at length about my political beliefs, other than a couple of nods here and there, or when it was appropriate for the source material I was covering. That's because part of me did, and does, want to keep my head down. Upon reflection, I realized that maintaining a platform at the cost of turning a blind eye isn't worth it. If I can somehow stay financially solvent by just ignoring the insane amount of injustice I am constantly surrounded by in my own country, what is the fucking point? I used to think that even though the Final Fantasy XIV space could be annoying at times, it was at least decent enough for people to be able to be themselves. You could always find assholes if you looked for them, but I felt like they got drowned out. But Dawntrail has provoked the ire of some of the most vile people on the internet, and got others to either reveal their true colors all along, or go down the alt-right pipeline themselves. I haven't made a video about Final Fantasy XIV in over a year, because I went down the Trails rabbit hole. But my God, has some of the shit I read made me lose my faith in humanity. I know I have a dry and sarcastic tone, but that's just who I am. I never thought it would signal to anyone I was somehow okay with bigotry. I'm going to skip over a lot of stuff here because I don't want to recall it. But I was so disgusted with myself and some of the people who called themselves a fan of me that I really wanted to delete my entire YouTube channel and walk out into the middle of the desert. The only thing that prevented me from purging my entire internet existence was the fact that plenty of people were also comfortable being openly queer in my presence too. I mean, the ghostwriter on this channel is a trans woman who seems to tolerate me. I'm not sure what all of that says about myself, but I can only assume that a lot of people think I'm indifferent. And I would have considered myself indifferent for a long time too. I now understand that position at best is condoning the actions of bigots. To be clear, I am not an activist, or at least I do not consider myself one. Posting this video is about making my stance clear and hoping that at the very least, my community can be a safe place. I believe that's the least I can do. I might still make fun of you for sucking at video games or being annoying, but that's only because I am too. I am not some kind of perfect ally. I am at least self-aware enough to say that if you sat me down and started interrogating every single dumb belief I have, you would find something problematic somewhere. I think that's part of being human, but I am a chair, so the chair community is not always happy with me. Also, this is not going to turn into a political channel, at least not in the sense of commenting on current events and following every step of the culture war. Not only because it's not what I want to do, but because there are others out there who are much more educated and who are already doing a much better job than I ever could. I just want to talk about video games. Sometimes a video game is going to have very heavy political messaging baked into it that, yeah, it will be appropriate to discuss those themes when they come up. That'll be too much for the anti-woke crowd who've convinced themselves that Nier Automata isn't making extremely on-the-nose political statements because 2B's ass is so fat that it overwrites it. But that's because all art is political. If you believe that anything made by any person will have their beliefs shine through at some point, no matter how hard they try to conceal them. Speaking of which, it's another reason why I think it's insane that anyone would think I'm okay with bigotry. Because if you think I'm anything other than a radical leftist, you are not paying close attention. But this shouldn't be about me and how cool I am for having some common decency. You should try to get involved locally and support vulnerable people in your own communities, to the best of your ability. Don't wear yourself out. Like all my annoying announcement videos, I'm not going to monetize this. Now let's get out there and promptly never reference this video ever again.